Hello, denizens of the internet. You all know that your former network executive only deals in weighty and important matters, which is why I'm reviewing HBO Max's Velma. And by reviewing, I'm more interested in the hows and whys of how a show like this came to be. I'll let others do the actual show reviews. That's not to say I won't toss in the odd observation, and this show was definitely odd. I was never a fan of the original Scooby-Doo cartoons, but because my wife, my daughter, and my son all were, I was forced to watch endless episodes of Scooby and the gang running down endless hallways, finding secret passages, and solving mysteries which usually involved someone in a rubber mask. It did not take a PhD to understand the charm and popularity of Scooby-Doo, though I'm sure Oberlin College, along with teaching a course on feminist glaciation, also must have one on intersectional Scooby-Doo, where the writers of this show, I'm certain, graduated from. So, what's the deal with this thing? Right from the initial trailer, people were commenting on the race-swapping and gay attraction of Velma. As a former network executive, I'm just grasping for any success I can. Do I understand young people? Nope. Could this have been a success? Sure. You never know until the show airs. We don't have HBO Max's numbers because it just came out, but based on Rotten Tomato scores, there isn't a lot of love for this show from critics or normies. This means I unleash one of a network executive's greatest skills, finding someone to blame the failure on. Anyway, the show exploits a tiresomely common theme these days. Slap on an existing brand on something even though it has almost nothing to do with it. Case in point was Disney's National Treasure, Edge of History, and Netflix's Witcher, Blood Origin, neither of which had anything to do with their progenitors. You could even say the same for Rings of Power, but I don't want to go there right now. We're all too depressed about that. And even though Velma has someone who looks like Velma, Daphne and Fred, and a total substitute for Shaggy in Norbert, and no Scooby-Doo in sight, it's not Scooby-Doo. Unless things change around in upcoming episodes or HBO Max's numbers are diametrically opposed to what people are saying online, this does not look to be the success HBO Max was hoping for. Let me say, with the benefit of hindsight, I really don't like this show at all. It's a hateful, scabby package that looks like it was written by the She-Hulk writers. If this pitch had landed on my desk as a not very creative network executive, which most of us aren't, my first question would be, why isn't this Scooby-Doo? You see, sometimes being creatively bereft has its advantages. I would know that it's a well-loved cartoon with a huge built-in audience, including a couple of very successful live-action movies. The 2002 movie cost $84 million to shoot and made nearly $300 million. I would really want to know why the cast of Velma was so unlikable. Velma was mean and suffering from hallucinations. Daphne was a drug dealer. Fred was so pathetic that he was unbearable. And Shaggy had become Norbert, a sad sack, lovesick wanker. I honestly wouldn't have been worried about the race swapping. I would have been concerned about not having a Scooby, but I would accept it if they got all the other pieces right, but they hadn't. The original gang was joyful, cheerful, and they supported each other. This group was nasty or stupid or ineffectual with nothing connecting them except Daphne and Velma, who realized they were same-sex attracted, and they made a big frickin' deal about that. Even though I might not have understood what were claimed to be jokes and humor in the script, I would know that this show would turn off existing fans. Students getting their legs cut off in a bloody mess with a flying paper cutter. Lesbian cops kneecapping Fred with their guns. Velma's very unfunny family situation. And that would be my question. Why do you want to piss off existing fans? I'm sure the answer at the pitch session was, we're looking to make it for a modern audience, which is the dumbest thing any creative person could say. A brand has a built-in audience. But here's a secret. It also has a built-in audience that doesn't like the property. That is actually part of the brand. So for all you budding network executives, here's your test. Which group requires the least amount of convincing to watch your show? The group that loves the brand or the group that thinks it's childish, stupid, and vowed never to watch it? Do you need some time to think about it? Of course not. And that mysteriously massive audience that has never heard of the property, how do you plan on reaching them? I would definitely have asked producer Mindy Kaling where this mysteriously massive audience was and how did she intend to capture them. In fact, that was a question I regularly asked producers who pitched shows they claimed would turn the world upside down. Dear God, you don't have to be a slave to the original. Just look at what they did with the 1993 Batman, Mask of the Phantasm. It was different, but it was also faithful to the tone of the source material. Velma, at its core, is totally unfaithful to the Scooby-Doo source material. Sure, Ray swapped the crew, give Velma a little bit of South Asian spice, make Norbert a homeboy, have Daphne Chinese, but don't punish Fred for being white and the leader of the old cartoons. Boy, they really had it in for Fred. I'm sure they were howling in the writer's room. What I'm saying is, find a way to keep the old camaraderie and respect along with the casting twist. You don't need anything more to freshen it up, especially the disturbing sexualization. I'm really not understanding the modern Hollywood experiment in pissing off the existing fan bases for popular properties. No executive in my time would dare to make a decision that potentially loses an audience. I don't get it. And that's all I'm going to say about the show. I'm not going to give you a blow-by-blow because it's a confusing mess that lacks heart and soul. It's a mean show, and it could keep the cartoon family nudity and the brainless murders, but you want the spirit of the old team, and you want them to be supportive with each other. Would I have greenlit this show based on the script of these first 2 episodes? No. Maybe I should make a regular feature. Would I have greenlit or not? What do you think, denizens? But what about the crazies who did greenlight this show? What did they see in the pitch? First of all, they saw diversity, inclusivity, and equity. Secondly, they saw edgy and violent, and they might have thought, yeah, that's what kids these days want, bloody cartoon characters. I'm fairly certain they had zero appreciation of the original. But as I said, Scooby-Doo does not have a lot of depth. It's really stupid. But even though I was forced to watch it, I had fun doing so. I did not have fun watching Velma. Till next time, denizens, be seeing you.